Hello, World Civ Class 106. Welcome to week 3. I want to apologize for the late announcement. I try to get these out every Sunday. I mentioned to my 104 class that I have suffered from jet lag and feeling a little disoriented on my time, and it's weird coming from a 14-hour difference into, here. I'm just like groggy all the time, and then I'm used to being a day ahead of all of you, and now I'm back, in the same time here, and I'm, in Portland, Oregon. We're in the same time zone, so I will just keep working on getting used to it and try to keep on top of things myself. You're all doing great, but we've had some issues with some of the Sunday papers that I want to help address immediately. I sent out letters to everybody in my class. On the beginning of the semester. I thought this would help clarify things, but I mean, honestly, I know how it is. Letters get sent and they get overlooked, or people. It's easy as a student to overlook a very important point that would be sent to them. So I am posting for all my classes a reprint of the letter that I sent. And number 4 is addressing Sunday papers. So I am, this semester I'm having 2 no tolerance of plagiarism and no tolerance of papers without dates. But I'm not upset about, it doesn't make me, if you give me a paper and there's no dates, many of you are sending me very quality papers, but the problem is a history paper without dates is not a history paper. So I just want to really kind of get this out of your system, make this very clear so that you're going to get a 0 until there's dates. And so this week, and this is the last week, I'll let you do this. If I did write to you, or you're seeing that you didn't put dates, I'll give a 0. And then if you just go add dates and resend, you'll get full points, okay? But after this week, any paper that you turn in that doesn't have any indication of the time period we're talking about, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to give a 0. And you're going to remember this discussion, this announcement and the paper, and you're going to say, why didn't I do that? And you're not going to do it again, ever, okay? So let's just make sure we put dates into the papers. And keep in mind, as I discuss a little bit here in the letter, the whole point of my Sunday papers, they're not academic research papers. That's not the intention of them. What I'm looking for is you to demonstrate in those papers that when I look at them, I can tell that you actually read the text, listened to the lectures, watched the videos, were involved in the discussions. It's very clear that you just sat through the material covered in the module for this for the week, and so when I'm seeing things that were never covered or talked by, we're not a part of this week's module. When you're going to outside sources, that's not what I'm looking for. Now sometimes I have students do an excellent job of this, and they want to add in something to just kind of add an extra layer of perspective into this, and they cite the source. No plagiarism is involved, and it's not the main part of their papers. You're good to go. I'm fine with that, okay? But everything in these papers should simply be reflecting, kind of reiterating what you learned. So imagine this is like if it's your mom, a friend, somebody saying, hey, what did you learn this week? And addressing it through the question or the topic that I have on a Sunday paper. And then you're just, again, reiterating, okay? So that's the whole point. So if you keep that in mind and you look more carefully on number 1, and the 4th part of topics that I have on advice about Sunday papers, I think it'll really help clarify, what will help you make a paper easier and get full points. So having said that, that's the only real issues that I've been seeing that needs to be addressed. And I'm hoping that after that gets clear to you, you'll actually take a deep breath and realize, it's not that hard or complicated. You do the work, you get involved. And, we're covering now ancient Egypt, and we're doing it in a way that's very different and unique. I talk about pre-Christian Egypt and Egypt. Now, I could have articulated this in many different ways. This is not a typical phrase you'll see in a history class. Ancient Egypt, like, pre-Christian or after. One of the problems that I've found that bothers me is how, for many people, there's simply ancient Egypt and the pharaohs, and then Egypt's history just kind of disappears to people. Like, there's no more discussion of Egypt. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more when we cover Christianity. I will go over that much more. I do a small portion on Christianity, though, still, in our module for this week. But significant enough. I talk about St. Anthony. You're going to see that. And what I want you to realize is that the early part of Christianity was heavily dominated by Egypt. And in the Muslim world, well, should I say the broader Arabic-speaking world, Egypt is one of the major producers of films. So Egypt never went away. Egyptians are still all here. And so this is a kind of way to put that in the context. So as I mentioned, I have a little clip on the Coptic Church, and that's mainly just to kind of get it into your mind. Oh, wow, the Coptic Church is still around as well. Also, the Egyptian Church and the Christian legacy is still here, despite the fact that now the majority are Muslims in Egypt. Okay, so I hope you find all this extra interesting and enjoy the podcast and other aspects that you'll be covering about Akhenaten and so forth. Feel free to give to hit me up on any questions about logistics in terms of your grades and the papers, or just the topics in general. Now that I'm in the United States, I am going to be more accessible. I put my new cell phone number at the bottom of this announcement. Feel free to hit me up, but also please, in the past I've had students that text me at like 5 in the morning. Sometimes I've had like some late night texts, or somebody's like drinking at a party. Let's just go with the 9 to 5 time frame, right? It's the best time to get a hold of me. Okay. I normally wouldn't give out my number to have students text or call me, but in an online class, and I'm living in a different state, it's good for you to have that kind of access to me, so I can get a hold of you quickly if you have some immediate question about the material or something like that. So just keep that in mind. So in any case, I hope you're having a great start to your week. We'll be in touch, and as I said, give me a call if you need me. And it's good to be back in the USA, and mainly good. But man, sometimes, we'll have to, if I get a chance, we'll have to share things about culture and safety and the difference between America and certain things and other parts of the world. But I did just leave Hong Kong, so that's a whole nother level. Yeah, we'll be in touch, and like I said, you can hit me up and we can talk about some of that if you want. Have a great day.